the award-winning golf courses at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
All right, we'll go to rural Oregon and welcome in Oregon Duck alum, numbers nerd, turned the college football world on top of its head. Now he's all into sports gambling and other stuff, hunting bobcats. But we welcome Dave Bartoo on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Bartoo, what's up, buddy?
Dude, it's all numbers, baby. Whether it's sports gambling, football, basketball, hockey. I got super bored in the off season, and so I just started modeling college basketball. Just absolutely filleted the tournament from a sports betting standpoint. NBA, last 4 weeks, 500 bets, 59%. And now I'm getting into hockey. And what I've discovered, it's all the same formula, right? It's all the same formula I use for the NFL. Nothing changes. NBA is the same as the NFL, which is the same as men's college basketball, which is going to be the same as the WNBA, which is the same as NHL. It's all offensive and defensive scoring efficiency. It's just how you tabulate that. But it's all the same thing, and it all works phenomenal. So I'm enjoying this newfound discovery of data in all aspects of sport year-round.
Man, you are a weird dude, and I love it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, once you go down the rabbit hole, it's Katie bar the door. So, all right, how was your dinner with our guy Nick Fulton with USA Pawn?
With USA Pawn, yeah, Nick was out west here, and it's not very often that Mom lets me leave the house so I can go see humans. So when Nick called on the hard line and she answered it, she let me talk to him, so I was able to go out and meet him up for dinner over near the airport. So
okay.
It took a while because you got to hitch up the horses and get to a place where you can actually drive the car. The cars are parked at the end of the road.
My God.
And it was great. Nick there at USA Pawn, he is dude. I love talking to that guy. I think was the first time we talked to him. What was the steakhouse when I was there at Mississippi State meeting with Dan? First time I was down there. What was that steakhouse? There?
That I took you to?
Yeah. Nick was there, and it's Nicholas. And
I took you to Restaurant Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember what it was because suddenly it seems everybody has an affinity to drink bourbon from the minute you walk into the restaurant, like all through dinner, and then afterward. And I've been flying, and I don't remember much of that meal.
Yeah.
But I remember I was like, "Wow, this is good."
Oh no! Oh yeah. And when we got back from Starkville, I took you to Mint, and then the next time you came in, you went up to Pearl River Resort, the Golden Moon Casino, and we went to Philip M's, but we also went to Kessler Prime. So we went to a bunch of different spots. Yeah,
we did, and we drank bourbon at all of them. And I know Nick was at one of them.
Yes,
so
yes.
It was cool that he reached out when he was in town here because it's not often I get guys that I know from back east, even within an hour of the house.
Yeah. No, I'm glad y'all got to connect. There's a lot going on with we're already in prediction season, and what could people do with their schedules? Well, heck, the NFL is too, because we have the NFL Network on right now in studio, and it never ends for them. But Mississippi State, I think people are getting way ahead of themselves. I think Zach Arnett has made a lot of really good moves. I think he did a great job keeping things together when Leach passed away. And the players like him and all that, and he connects with them, and there's something to that. But the bottom line is he's a first-year head coach with a first-year defensive coordinator and a first-year offensive coordinator at the Power 5 level. And just because he has 8 home games, 2 of those games are LSU and Bama. And so I think it offsets it a little bit. But people are just talking about 8, 9, 10 wins like I could go down the street and get a cheeseburger. and a beer. And that's just not how it works. I want to get your thoughts on some of the feedback that we're getting. Oh yeah, they'll go 8-4, 9-3, maybe even 10-2.
Was there a chemical spill in this water system I didn't hear about?
Yes, basically.
Jeez, dude. I mean, unless Mississippi State has been recruiting in the top 15 the last 4 years, and the coaching staff's been together for 2 or 3 years, look. First of all, the situation, right? I mean, you are coming in after a legendary coach, and fans still have Dak Prescott in the back of their head.
Sure.
Right. And Prescott's not walked through that door. Dak isn't walking through that door. And then you look at, and Dan's the greatest head coach in Mississippi State history, right?
True.
He is. And he averaged 7.1 wins.
I think that's about right.
Season.
Yeah.
Right. And won 5 games his first year. Mike averaged, Mike's only there 3 years, averaged 6 wins a year, and won 4 games in 2020. Albeit that was a messed up year for sports and football. So to have a brand new head coach with an entirely new staff, one of the youngest staffs in the country, win 9 games when Dan Mullen and Mike Leach won 9 games combined their first year, I'd say that's maybe over the skis. Just a skosh. Okay. You're still a bottom 4 recruiter, bottom 5 recruiter in the SEC. Got a whole new staff. You have a whole new staff that's taken over for a legendary coach. The timing of all that. I mean, in the middle of December. I mean, seriously, if you had 365 days and you said, when is the worst possible day for something bad to happen to your head coach? It was literally the day he died, I think. I mean, just the timing was horrible. So I would venture to guess the Las Vegas total on Mississippi State will probably be 5.5, 6, maybe 6.5 wins. I think the biggest uphill battle is going to be offensively, not because of the change, but because of the lack of explosiveness. This was a bottom 10 offense in running and passing explosiveness in college football last year.
Which is insane how they won as many games as they did.
It is. Because offensively, the efficiency wasn't there. The explosive scoring and the explosive plays was something I was working on with Schumann at Georgia right before, because we were focused on TCU, because TCU scored 54% of all of their points last year. 54% of all of their points came on 37 explosive plays for the entire season.
Wow.
Right? And so we were looking at, okay, so what are we looking at to try to inhibit the offense? And so on the flip side, you had somebody like Mississippi State that didn't have that. I don't think they had 7 explosive plays all year. I mean, the explosive ratio was really, really bad. So I think the difficulty is not only is a new offense, but rewiring everybody, because there was just absolutely no explosion whatsoever on the offense. So I think that's going to take some time. Then you have all these other factors. So I would not set if you got to 8 wins, if you got to 9 wins in year 1 at Mississippi State, oh my God, that would be so fantastic. But personally, look, I've been doing this long enough with you. I'm a little bit of a State fan, right? I mean, I got my hat, I got my gear. I do love State, but I'm going to keep my expectations in this situation low and be happy if they knock it out of the park. But I think you got to keep it real based on everything that is churning with this, especially in the SEC, man.
Well,
in the SEC, it's just tough.
If he went 7-5 and beat Ole Miss, people should run down the street, and throw a parade. You're right. I mean, don't you have to give Arnett some time to develop as a head coach?
I think you got to give a lot of guys time. Right, I had this question yesterday about Mike Norvell. What did we think of him coming in? And I thought it was the best G5 hire on paper. Right, the first 2 years was a struggle, a flat struggle, and this is a top 3 recruiter in the entire conference. And finally, year 3, it clicked. I always have the rule of thumb for us here from a data standpoint is 4 years. Try to be patient for 4 years. Now, if there's no improvement, if you go 4-8 and then 4-8. I'm like, okay, a great example of just absolutely swimming in dog crap for 3 straight years. Ed Orgeron at Ole Miss.
Right.
Okay. Those 3 years were almost the same identical garbage for 3 consecutive years. It was amazingly, awfully consistent. Okay. And so I get and understand getting rid of something like that. But I still say you got to give, whether it's Zach or anybody else, we're looking at 4-year window. Are we improving? And I know people, look, it's an instant oatmeal drive-through microwave society. We want to go 9-3 in 6 games, right? We want to win a lot. We want to win now. And college football is actually the opposite of that. It is so hard to even consistently win at any program. So whether it's Zach or a new coach anywhere, it doesn't matter really where it's at. Understand the situation, but most of all, be patient and celebrate when good things happen. I'm a storm the field guy. You know that. You win, you storm the field. Don't act like you've been there, because in college football, you never know when you're going to be back.
Let's walk through the schedule here. All right, so Southeast Louisiana and Arizona at home. They should be 2-0 and heavily favored. All right, here's where it gets tricky. This 3-game stretch of SEC games. This is not a gift to Zach Arnett scheduling wise. I mean, as a first-year head coach, right? And again, he's done some good things. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about. But here's his first 3-game conference stretch: LSU at home, at South Carolina, Bama at home.
Yeah, loss. Right? I mean, it's loss. Number one in the SEC, what's the first rule of thumb? All SEC conference games, the better recruiter is going to win 70% of them. Right? So you look across the board at that, you got a 30% chance. So going 2-1 is going to be great. Now, I agree with you. Going to South Carolina, if it was at Mississippi State, then I'd say they have a lot better chance at home than on the road. Plus, how are you going to focus on South Carolina when you are smashed between Alabama and LSU? Plus, then you have they got Alabama and LSU right out of the gate at the end of September, beginning of October. Oh, dude, that sucks so bad, right? Because now you got the lingering physicality effect of that. Playing 2 top 5 recruiters early on, that's just going to be tough. But I'll from a prediction standpoint, I would say is 1 and 2 would be a great run between those 3 games.
Yeah, if they could steal the at South Carolina game, that'd be huge. Okay, then they play Western Michigan W, and then they have an off week. All right, so then here we go again with a conference schedule.
Mm-hmm.
At Arkansas, at Auburn.
Okay. That's, again, two just brutal road games. Arkansas, from a recruiting standpoint, pretty even. You got to lean towards Arkansas winning that game because it's on the road. Same thing with Auburn. Top 10 recruiter on the road. All new staff, I get that. But now we're talking week 6, week 7. That thing's probably gelled pretty good. So, I think Auburn's just going to get tougher. Like any good recruiter with the new staff, should be getting tougher as the season goes along. So, what are we sitting at right now? We're still sitting at 3 wins?
Yeah, you've got them 3-5. With Kentucky coming to Starkville after that.
Okay, there's 4 and 5.
Okay. At A&M.
Okay. 4 and 6.
Southern Miss at home.
5 and 6.
Ole Miss at home.
6 and 6.
All right.
Yeah, good. Vegas is going to get their win total on the season. Guarantee you, Vegas is going to be 5.5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's easy. That's really easy. It's like, and I know you said, well, we got a whole bunch of home games. Yeah, but LSU and Bama.
Right.
Again, it's context. You got to look. You can't just say X number of home games, X number of road games. This is how we're going to win. In the SEC, it's recruiting, and and keep in mind, okay. And here's kind of one of the scary things is you got Texas and Oklahoma coming in. Okay, that ain't too bad if you stay at 8 conference games. But if they go to 9 conference games, Western Michigan now becomes Oklahoma or Texas or Tennessee. And So careful what you wish. If you're a State fan, you're like, I can't wait for 9 conference games. You be careful what you wish for, boy. You be real careful what you wish for.
How about this? Mississippi State and Ole Miss both pull LSU and Bama in September.
Dude, who did they piss off?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm looking at it here. It's crazy how they kind of flip flop playing these two teams over the course of a few weeks. I can't remember this. I can't remember LSU and Bama being on the schedule for both teams in the month of September.
That's just mean.
I agree.
Right? I mean, that's just mean. Yeah, that's so somebody got drunk and pissed somebody off in Destin, and they're like, hey, we're going to change the schedule.
I think it was when Ross Bjork was at Ole Miss. But anyway, Dave Bartoo on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. All right, give me your best toss-up games. I would think at South Carolina, as far as games that they made at South Carolina and at Arkansas, I'm thinking Bartoo.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's our critical games? Okay, so our non-conference games are basically we got to get W's across the board on that, right?
Right.
Look, don't be a slouch on Arizona because their offense was top 15 in the country last year. They got a quarterback named Delora who I think that he is awesome. Heck, I'd probably draft that guy over anybody in the draft right now. That's how good I think he affects the game. So Arizona's going to be tough offensively in that game, but we're going to, but it is at home, so we expect business to be taken care of there. But I'm going to put Arizona in a coin flip game. That's important. Arkansas, South Carolina, Kentucky, and probably Ole Miss at home.
Mm-hmm.
There's your
swing games.
Those 5 games right there. Those are your swing games because A&M, LSU, Alabama, Auburn. Let's just not fret over those. If you get one out of 4 in that run, awesome, totally awesome, right? And you got a shot because as long as Jimbo's there, he's going to give up wins. And Auburn, you got a new staff, but it's a dang good staff, and Hugh is a dang good coach too.
Yeah, he is.
So let's not worry about those 4.
He's beaten. I think he's beating Ole Miss and Mississippi State this year. He hosts both of them. That's just how it lined up. And I think he's just a program flipper. I think he'll beat both of them at home. But go ahead.
Yeah. So those are the 5 games that I think we're really focused on right there. And so, we're talking 3 automatic wins, right? I mean, three in non-conference, so we're 3-0, and so we got 5 swing games. So you win all 5, you're 8-4. So that's probably what people are looking at, saying, "Hey, we have a shot to do this."
How many times in a football season do you win 100% of your swing games, Bartoo?
Oh no, yeah, it's not very often, right? It's not very often, and usually in close games like that, a lot of it's just quarterback driven. So how good is a quarterback to just elevate a team in tight games? That's really what it comes down to. Other coaches, other players, yeah, they're a factor, but tight games, it's whether it's the NFL or college, it's still a quarterback's world. So those are the 5 that personally, I'd say that's what we're focusing on for the swing games for the season this year.
How about this we'll go over it in full in a week or two. But so I told you about Arnett's first 3-game stretch, which is brutal, right? LSU at home, at South Carolina, Bama at home. How about this for Kiffin? At Bama, LSU at home, Arkansas at home. That's his first 3-game stretch. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God, dude! There won't be a guy walking by the Arkansas game. They're going to be beat to heck, dude. Totally beat to heck. I'd have to say State's stretch is tougher, is worse, because I think getting mentally up for at South Carolina in between LSU and Alabama is a lot tougher than finishing with finishing with Arkansas
at home. I got you.
But
that makes sense.
Still, the physicality early on. I'm a big believer in gaining confidence early in the season, staying healthy, winning football games. I 100% tell AD schedule as easy as possible all the time. No buys in September. You want to make the bye later. Early buys hurt really bad, and schedule as easy as possible. Gel and stay healthy. You got Alabama, LSU right out of the gate. That is really tough to get your traction to gel and stay healthy.
All right, now the one thing they may have going for them is obviously they pull LSU before heading to South Carolina.
Right.
But South Carolina has to go to Georgia before hosting Mississippi State. So at least South Carolina plays a nasty one or two recruiter, whatever you want to say, the week before. Yeah. So they'll be coming off a brutal, ruthless, physical game too, which is that doesn't always happen in the East, Bartoo.
Right. Physical and mental, because they're going to do everything they can to win that. I mean, that's their Super Bowl, right?
Right.
I mean, you're going to try to do everything you can to beat Georgia. So you win or lose, physically and mentally, they'll be shot in that game, right? Mm-hmm. So I agree. I think that is, again, that goes back to what games are on the schedule that are 50-50 balls, right? And so you got to look at all sides of it. I agree with you there. That's a really good observation, is what does South Carolina have coming into that game. So both of them got tough matchups. I would say the South Carolina one, maybe not more physically, but mentally, I think South Carolina at Georgia is going to be mentally tougher to recover from the next weekend than hosting LSU.
Yeah, well, that would be good for Zach Arnett and Kevin Barbay and Matt Brock and Will Rogers and the crew. So for our listeners, South Carolina goes to, well, actually, and they play a Power 5 non-con too before. They play North Carolina, usually on a neutral field in Charlotte. I don't know why Ray Tanner thinks he needs two non-con P5s. He plays North Carolina and Clemson, which is dumb, putting Beamer in a bad situation. But they play North Carolina, Furman, at Georgia, and then host Mississippi State. So that's the deal there for this. Yeah,
tough non-conference scheduling, especially staring down the barrel of 9 conference games in the SEC. 9 conference games in the SEC. Man, those guys are nuts. These guys are nuts. I just don't. The physical. You're already the most injured conference per snap with 8. You know, you're going to have more injuries. You're going to have more 500 teams. You're going to have less bowl eligible teams. Dude, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But hey, you guys do you.
All right, bud. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us, walking us through the 2023 Mississippi State schedule. I'm sure you and I both made a bunch of friends listening, and hopefully we'll be hosting you here in the next 4 to 8 weeks. I know you got graduation and all kinds of things going on, and we'll catch up soon. See you, buddy.
Thank you.
Dave Bartoo at CFB Matrix on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Don't forget about the charbroiled oysters at Drago's Seafood Restaurant and Oyster Bar. Pair it with some seafood gumbo and maybe some Patron tequila on the rocks at Drago's, County Line Road. Ooh, Patron tequila and charbroiled oysters. I know that's a good pairing. Yeah, super premium tequila, Patron, and charbroiled oysters from Drago's on the property of the Hilton Jackson. Have a great day. I'm headed to the Mississippi Braves Stadium. 11:05 first pitch. We'll see you tomorrow. Hit Apple Podcasts. Search Out of Bounds with Bo Bounds if you missed anything. See ya.